2020 COVID just happened, and I was probably the fattest I've ever been in my life. I'm talking about my innie belly button became an outie so much that it was making eye contact with my nipples. And I would be lying to you if I said that a lot of the people that I was hanging around with that enjoyed drinking and going out was something I despised, because I enjoyed it. Like, I was actually looking forward to it and going out with friends, just because it felt like, because we were so isolated indoors, I miss just being around people and socializing. And when I got the opportunity to do that, it was just like an implosion and explosion of everything at the same time. And even during the same period, I remember like I was seeing someone, but we kind of fell out. So I had a lot more excuses and a lot more reasons to be going outside, drinking, and just having a good time. But the one thing that was really negative whilst I was doing that was my habits or my discipline really changed. Gyms were closed. The UK is cold. I don't always feel like going out for a walk, even though I could have probably put on 2 to 3 to 4 jackets. Who really wants to do that? You know what I'm saying? But now there was times I would go out for the long walks just so I can get the blood flowing. But if I'm not getting my steps in, I'm not giving myself any reasons to burn calories, right? So eventually I kind of got to a point where I remember one day I was going to work, because at this period I was working remotely, and then they asked us to start going back into the office. And I remember one day I was just getting dressed to go back to work, and the top that I usually wear that was very fitted. Oh man, when something fits your body perfectly, and then you wear it another day, and then your stomach is out here looking. It's like it's looking for signals. It felt like my stomach was just doing a semicircle. It was like the opposite letter of a D. You know what I'm saying? Like it looked like it was just like flat there, like the letter B or something like that. I was just like, whoa, 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 whoa. And you know what? I thought I could hide it, right? This is what I thought I could hide it. And I worked with this Nigerian uncle. You see, the thing is with Africans, right? I love them. Love them. I'm African too. I love them. But when they want to share something with you, there is no middle ground. There is no sensitive side, right? He just went straight in there. And the first thing he said when he saw me, and mind you, I haven't seen this guy in a couple of months. Like, he's like, hey, Nation, what happened to you? What? And I was like, whoa, what's going on? I'm smiling because I'm thinking, yeah, there's something's coming, but I don't know where it's coming from, like which angle it's coming from. He's like, what happened to you? He's like, look at you, you're young. Where is your stomach? You can't be looking like one of my friends. I was like, no. He just compared me to an African uncle. No way. You can't be looking like one of my friends. No. What is going on? You see, this is what happens when you stop doing what you're supposed to do. Make sure you return to what you were supposed to be doing before. Your stomach is just out here trying to have a conversation with everybody. And then the worst thing about it, right, is that it didn't stop there. He started to get other African members that we work with, right, to come and get involved, so that way they can both comment. He's like, hey, come here. Let me show you something. And eventually, I just had like 4 people. I'm just standing there looking like a piece of meat in a kebab shop after people just came from a rave at 3 a.m. just making their judgments like, yo, do we really want that last piece of meat? Oh, what's wrong with that part? Like, they were going in, man. They were roasting me. And I was there laughing my arse off, but deep down I was like, you know what? You guys are right. Like, I have been slacking. And it's not as if like I felt like I was hanging around with the wrong people. I was hanging around with the right people, That's one thing I hate when people say, oh, I was hanging around with the wrong people. I was hanging around with the wrong crowd and they were doing this. Or like, first of all, accountability, guys. Accountability, hold yourself accountable for your actions. It wasn't the wrong people. I knew that's the energy that I wanted at the time, and that's what I wanted to do. However, I held myself accountable because I was like, okay, cool. If I want to change, I just need to change. Discipline is something where you have to be able to take responsibility for your actions. You can't keep blaming something on the environment where you're from, or is this group of people. It's like, no, I just said, you know what? My friends started to ask me to keep going out, and I just told them, hey guys, I'm going to kind of like stop doing that for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I kind of want to get my mind right, especially when COVID happened. A lot of family members weren't well, like a lot of people that we're dealing with. So mentally, I wasn't a cool space. I was in a better space, but at the same time, I felt like that kind of affected my discipline and my habits that I had cultivated over the years before 2020. That led to me being the fattest I've ever been. And at that time, I think the gyms were starting to open. You know, the rules and regulation of 6 feet between each other was kind of going out the window. And I think a lot of people at the gym weren't really following it because everyone was just happy just being able to be active again. You know, like I'm someone that likes to be active. I like to play football. I like to do something athletic. So it felt like something just cut a big piece of me. And like, I really don't know how people actually stay at home and don't work out or just do any other activity. By the way, I'm just holding this food. This is plantains. This is beetroot, chicken. Like, I am gonna eat it, but it's because I'm making this video. I am just gonna talk at the same time. So I'm just trying to get through it so that way I can actually eat my dinner. So anyway, getting back to the story, I just told myself, you know what, let me stop going out as much as I was, right? Like, let me actually change my habit. And the first thing I knew I had a lot of control of was just conversing with my friends and understanding why I was going out. It's just, I just wanted to socialize. It wasn't that I was running away for anything. It wasn't that I was trying to escape anything. I understood the good and the bad and the situation where I was. And the best thing I knew I could do for myself was create new habits. So I decided to start telling myself, all right, cool, I'm going to start with the food. You know, a lot of the food I was eating a lot of the times, it wasn't like it was bad food. I was just eating a lot of the times out of boredom, you know, and I cultivated a habit because, again, I was staying indoors a lot, watching a lot of Netflix or just random TV shows, and a lot of social media as well, you know, because I was also creating content, I was also learning information, I was also digesting a lot of content. So I thought, all right, cool, I'm going to have to cut a few of those habits down, a few of those things. I have to sacrifice a few of those things so that way I can create new habits for myself. And because I was doing social media as well, I like to journal things, and you never know if it's ever gonna. I never know if it's gonna turn into content, but I know that in the future it would be an advantage, maybe to make a video like this. So for someone that wants to disappear and then be able to change themselves in the future, and that's the advantage of kind of doing social media because you get to self-reflect a lot. So I just cut down a lot of things, started writing my plans out, you know, writing what I want to eat, what time I want to eat that, learning about my calorie intake, and then just starting to go to the gym relentlessly, you know, as well as applying for different type of jobs because I wanted to do another type of profession. And because I started going to the gym, like at the first week, it felt very difficult, you know. Like I will be lying to you to be like, oh yeah, the first week as soon as I came in, it was easy. It was, oh, my muscle memory was doing no. The first week felt difficult, felt tedious because mentally I felt like I could train how I used to train before, but physically my body still wasn't at the level of how I used to see myself, right? So just getting over that part was a difficult hurdle. But once I got over that by the second week, by the end of the second week, I started to get into the flow of things. You know, the second week I became a lot more consistent. My body was aching from the training that I had before. I started to include stretches and everything else, mobility exercise, just to make sure that I don't get injured because I wanted to be able to work out as frequently as I can, so that way I can get my physique back to the point that I wanted to or I needed to. And best thing about that is the feeling I got. It became so the feeling of fulfillment, the way I felt energized, the way I just felt like I looked forward to waking up and doing a lot more things. Even from the eating, I decided to say, you know what, I want to learn a lot of other different dishes so I can incorporate that on my eating schedule as well. And yeah, man, just disappearing for a short period of time. And I not only did it for like 2 months, 2.5 months, really. I included the fasting as well in my regime, so that way I can shred a lot of weight a lot faster. I included a lot of HIIT training. I included a lot of superset training on my regime. And I was able to drop the weight and I was able to regain my muscle. And mind you, because it was easier for me because I was working out before. So, and I'm like very big on being natural. And because I was natural, it didn't take me that long to regain a lot of the things I had lost previously. From strength, even muscle definition. The size was kind of still there, but the definition was really gone. But yeah, disappeared like 2.5 months, 3 months. I was back at it. Like, my physique drastically changed. I was consistent. I made sure that I avoided doing something that would get me injured. I made sure I ate food like this. Of course, the plantains being a bit too starchy, but I had a nice balance. Sometimes I will take away plantains, or, I eat like brown rice and so forth. But I just made sure that protein intake was good, the gut health was good, fasting was on point, my fiber intake was on point. I made sure that I was just consistent, and I created a plan that I stuck to, a plan that worked around the schedule that I had already. And were there times when I still met friends here and there? Like, probably there was one occasion that I did go out and meet friends. We went to a restaurant, but when we went to the restaurant, I could still eat the food that I wanted. There was no peer pressure on, oh, let's go and get drinks here, let's go and do that. Again, first of all, before being a human being, I'm a man. Like, I hold myself accountable for the decisions I make. And I did exactly just that. And yeah, for anyone that's looking to just disappear for like 2 to 3 months, I recommend you do it. You're definitely gonna get a great deal from it, not just physically but mentally, and the energy you get from just getting shredded. You can take that energy and invest it into, like, if you want to start a business, or if there's a new job or a career that you want to get into, or if you're saying, you know what, maybe you're single, or you want to start looking for someone like a partner. You want to be mentally in that space where you feel so confident, where you can approach people to speak to, and then you want to use that energy and utilize it to your advantage to be able to do that. Then I recommend you do it. You're going to benefit a great deal from it. You're going to benefit, and you're going to end up coming back feeling like you're unrecognizable. Even some of the people are going to look at you like, damn, like, he was this person, and where were they hiding? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to look like a superstar. And more than anything, even if you don't look exactly how you want to look in the 3 months, you're going to feel better than what you want to look in those 3 months, because the feeling of just feeling healthy, of just being healthy, man, is absolutely priceless. It will change your flipping life. Like, I'm a I'm a testimony towards that. Yeah, so if you are looking to start that journey and you want to disappear, of course, it being the summer at the moment, I know you want to be out, enjoy yourself, but give yourself some time to say, you know what, if I'm going to start this, I'm going to start this now. So that way, by the time you reach August, you can change everything that you want in your life and then become a better version of you. Yeah? All right. If this helped you out, make sure to subscribe. Let me know how you're feeling in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next time. All right. Bless.